All righty. Today we have Jeremy Johnson, owner of JJ's Quality Homes. Jeremy, how we doing?
Good. How are you?
Doing all right. So, Jeremy, tell me how this whole company started. Like, where'd you get your start at?
So I was going to play baseball. I was going to play Major League Baseball more than likely, and
Oh yeah,
yeah, I ended up. They found herniated disc in my back, and so that kind of in that part of my life, and I was like, I got to figure out something else. So in between a baseball tournament, funny enough, I built a garage for my brother-in-law. His dad was a contractor, and he asked if I needed or if I want to make some extra money. I was like, yeah, of course. I grew up poor. So I was like, all right. So I went and built a garage this weekend, and in between baseball games, literally, like I went back to playing baseball after the game, went back and worked on the same weekends, and I fell in love with it that day. Like I literally, there was something about it that day, and then once I went to work full time, I knew I was going to do that the rest of my life,
yeah.
and that's going on a little over 27 years right now.
Okay. Well, tell me a little bit more about the baseball aspect of your life. I did not know that about you.
It was my life. That's all I did as a kid. I mean, I played every sport, but baseball was what I really excelled at.
Mhm.
Um, and if you were to ask anybody in my high school, they would have told you that was where I was headed.
Yeah,
Um, I never had a father figure in my life at all. So my mom dropped me off at a field when I was 9 years old and said, "Here, go play for this team." Literally had no clue what I was doing. The coach asked me what position I wanted to play, and I said batter.
yeah.
I literally didn't even know anything about it. And then just, found out I was good at baseball and I had a rocket for an arm. I didn't even know it.
There you go.
Yeah, that's how I found
That
out.
I mean, I played baseball growing up too, so I don't know. I enjoy it.
Oh, yeah.
So tell me a little bit about when did you start your own company?
So it's going on 10 years that I started my company, but I've been in the business 27 years.
Hmm.
I worked under somebody and then for quite a while. And I took about a 1 year break in between that because we had a set of twins that they had to have full attention basically because they had pregnancy problems. So we decided that I was going to be the one to stay with them, which that's when I created my business. I kind of ventured off because that was my fourth child, and we got a fifth boy on the way, which I'm going to have my own baseball team before you know it.
There you go.
Um, but yeah, that was kind of how that whole thing started. Roughly 10 years ago on my own, and it
Yeah,
took off. It took off since the day I started, and I was glad I did that. I should have started it way earlier because I was running a business basically for somebody, and not only that, it's just I was bringing in the business, for the other company, which was a big deal. And I was like, I sh- this is what I should be doing. So I started it and it took off. Like I literally have not had one single day, thank the Lord, with no work.
yeah. So tell me a little bit about. I know you do a lot of videos.
Yep.
Um, I guess what made you want to start doing that? Like, what was the idea behind showing
So
people what you do every day?
I honestly started when my twins were born, when I took that transition, when I took that year off of work, because my, at the time, ex wife, I've been remarried, she got a job offer and it was a good paying job. We moved to Oklahoma for a year and somebody had to stay with the twins. Somebody had to be with them. It had to be a parent. And at that time, it was me that did that. And uh, I totally forgot the question. What was the question? Sorry, I blanked
So
out.
how'd you get started with like all your social media stuff?
Okay.
Like what made you want to start that?
Yeah. So that going back to that, I had that downtime,
Mhm.
and I always told myself I was going to never be on social media. I thought I never would, but at that time, my ex-wife got me on Instagram, and I noticed on there that people was posting stuff, pictures of their work and stuff, and I thought it was very fascinating, and I was actually learning stuff by seeing it. Stuff that I didn't know that people did in other states and countries and stuff. Um, so that was real fascinating to me. And then once I kind of got on there and start playing around with it, and I'm not tech savvy by no means. People think that you have to spend a lot of time on social media, you know, to help your business, because I utilize it for business only. Like, I don't scroll through Instagram, I don't scroll through Facebook. I don't look at anything. I only post. I very rarely look through stuff. Literally when I go to the bathroom, you know,
Yeah.
just if I have a little downtime, or if I'm killing time waiting on tags or something like that, you know, or whatever. But I just post stuff and utilize it because it's free advertisement, and I also want to help people, and I want to kind of show a biography of our work for customers. So when customers they see our social media, they already know a lot about me, and I think that's a big, huge part of our success, because 99% of the people I walk up to, they already know everything about me. They know my kids' names. They know they know everything about me. It's incredible, and it ranges from people from, you know, on social media. What I've noticed, you know, I have young kids that follow me all the way up to 90-year-olds. You know, like, you wouldn't believe the people on Instagram specifically, because Facebook, a lot of people think Facebook is like a more powerful platform. It's more powerful locally, and people have to find you. They have to type in your name or know you somehow.
Right.
Instagram, they can come by you, you know, by
Yeah.
accident. By accident. So it's just a different whole deal. And then Instagram's opened up many, many doors for us. You know, we've had television show opportunities that I've turned down, several of them, just because I didn't want to do it. Basically, I'm kind of like, I'm a private person, but I'm not. You know, I like to have some privacy, so they wanted to set up cameras all over everywhere, and I just didn't want no part of that. And,
Yeah.
you know, my guys, they love that attention. You know, they're kind of like what do you call that? Social media famous in town. You know,
Yeah.
people know them really well, want pictures with them, and are always screaming at them and stuff. And they love that attention. But, you know, I'm just trying to run a business, and I'm utilizing it for what it is.
Yeah. So you had, gosh, it's probably been a couple of years now. Um, Something happened with one of your accounts and it got hacked or something like that. And,
So that goes back to my ex. Uh,
okay.
when I went through a divorce, I think that had something to do with it, because she had all the info, and that's when it was really growing. It was at the
Yeah.
point where it was kind of like taking off, and it got hacked, and the algorithms changed heavily. You know, so it totally kind of, I don't know, it frustrated me, and, you know, I just don't spend as much time in it like I used to. Don't get me wrong, I utilized it, but we only show like a quarter of the work that we do on there, because a lot
Yeah.
of stuff that we do, people don't want us to show their stuff, you know, for private purposes, because we're in the wealthier end of clients, you know, for the most part. We'll work on anybody's house, but we've just kind of fell in the lap of lawyers and doctors and, you know, all that stuff, and people are private.
Yep. So what did that rebuild look like? I mean, I know.
It came pretty quick, you know. I jumped up to 30,000 followers pretty fast, which is considered a lot. You know,
Yeah.
it's nothing to sneeze at. So it's like, you know, Milwaukee Tools, as you can see, is one of my brands that they're a sponsor for me. So, and that all goes back to Instagram, and like LP Smart Side. I got several sponsorships, and if I want something on social media, I just reach out to them, because the amount of followers that we have,
Yeah.
they give us, but, you know, they'll send us out stuff to try out or whatever. Or
So
just
you're
overall.
actually one of the reasons why I have a bunch of Milwaukee stuff.
I hear that a lot from people, because I mean that's kind of the point. It's smart on their behalf, you know. They're utilizing by sending us. They send us products that are pre-launched before they hit the market, because
Yeah.
they want our opinions on it. You know, that's why I chose them over DeWalt. DeWalt wanted to be a sponsor, and I turned them down. They were sending me stuff, but I wasn't posting it. And DeWalt and Milwaukee hate each other. You know, they just don't. They're competition.
Yeah.
I just kind of chose Milwaukee, because honestly, I built my business colors around Milwaukee colors, black and red. I literally, that's what I started to use. I had all Milwaukee when I started my business, so I created my colors around them, and I knew I was going to use them. So I just rolled with them. And the cool thing about Milwaukee versus DeWalt is Milwaukee wants contractors' input on stuff. So I've had a lot of input on their products of changes and stuff, you know, giving them ideas of stuff that needs to be launched or things that needs to be tweaked and all that stuff. That's kind of why they send it to us. But
Yeah.
DeWalt caters more towards like homeowners, you know, so they're two different people. And the funny story is in Milwaukee, the CEO of the company came into the girls' office and told them to reach out to me, and they said that was the first time they ever had the CEO walk into the office.
That's
And
pretty neat.
yeah, that's pretty cool. That was
So
different.
so obviously they came across your social medias and were like, "Hey, this guy's moving and shaking. We need to touch base with him."
Pretty much. And once you hit a certain amount of followers, the sponsorships kind of put eyeballs on you, you know? I think it's like 7,500 when you hit that number. That's when people start looking at you, you know? Because they
Okay,
got to make it worth their audience, you know?
right. So I know one of the uh, things that you are big on is you want to use the best materials, and you actually have your whole in-house crew. You don't really sub out anything, do you?
No, I do. The only thing I sub out is HVAC, plumbing, and concrete. Pretty much everything
Okay.
else in house. My whole goal, though, in the future is to have everybody. That's my whole goal, you know? I don't want to have to call upon nobody.
Yeah.
I think
So
that's what made us successful is having our own people because I can control my schedule and crew. You know, a lot of these businesses, like my competition, they have to subcontract to people and
mhm,
they have to wait on people. You know, they're kind of
yeah,
at the their beck and call,
right.
which sucks. You know, so that way I can tell people where to go and I can put a certain amount of people on a certain job and do multiple jobs at a time that way. You know.
So tell me about. I saw that it probably was within the last year or so.
Mhm.
You actually started making your own cabinets, right?
Yep, we started at Wichita. So we got two shops. We got one gigantic shop that's kind of like where all our vehicles go and our office space and all that stuff. And um, got a painting area and stuff like that, and storage and all our tools. And then we got a wood shop. So we build our own custom. We do our woodworking out of there.
So how did you come across? How'd you come across that? Like, what made you want to start making your own cabinets?
The frustration of wait time, lead time on cabinets, you know, through companies. So, like for instance, we just started a job in Vickridge, which is an awesome area, you know, in Wichita. Um, it was on my bucket list of areas to work in. It was the last one that
Yeah.
I haven't worked in yet, and I have two going on at the same time right now, big ones. And so we ordered on that job specifically through Star Lumber, the cabinetry on that one because you know we don't make cabinets for everybody. You know, there's certain stuff that we can't mimic. You know, so if people want a specific line, specific color, finish, you know, we can't match that baked on finished paint. You know, that's the only downfall. So our cabinets are built better than any other cabinets. I mean, they're like tanks, you know, but then
Yeah.
you have to paint them. And so a baked on paint versus an infield paint is it's quite different, you know, for longevity purposes. So a lot of
Tell tell me the difference between that. So I have no idea what baked on paint or anything like that means.
well,
So
it's a you know like those big cabinet companies, they have their warehouses that have all the expensive machinery that you know pretty much is robotic and it's
yeah.
all painted and it's baked on with heat, you know. So
Okay.
adheres to it differently, and it's kind of like if you know anything you see pre-finished, like guttering, for instance. You know, you got selection of guttering that's baked on paint. You know, it's
Okay.
paint that's laminated to it in a specific environment. You know,
Gotcha.
so like
Okay.
if the cabinets that we build, if we paint them, you know, you got houses that have humidity problems, stuff like that. You know, the houses move and shift, so they're gonna want to crack and open up when you get cabinets that are baked on and stuff, you're not going to have that issue. It's quite different, you know? So, I mean, we haven't had no problems because of the way that we do it, you know, and I have people check humidity levels all the time on their homes and see if they need to put a dehumidifier in their house. And that's, you know, it solves the problem a lot.
Yeah.
But we don't really have any problems, though.
Good. Well, what's kind of your claim to fame? I know that you care literally about every single piece of the process. But like what would you say is one thing that essentially your 30-second elevator speech of whenever somebody talks to you?
Uh, when I'm talking to customers, you mean trying to sell a job?
Yeah, like what are you saying to people like, I know that you truly take care of your people, and you're using those top of the line products. But in this world, people like to cheap out, and I don't think you're necessarily the cheap out guy, are you?
No, so like I'll be straight up honest. Like money is not what gets me out of bed. I don't care about money. I don't think about money. I don't put money at the forefront of my business because I always feel like if you do things right and over time money will come with that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I invest a lot back into my business. So when I talk to people and I sell jobs, and I feel like I was born to sell jobs. You know, it took me a while to understand that because I love working in the field with the guys. If I had my choice, I would be working in the field because it's stress free. You know, it's
Yeah.
way more stressful dealing with customers and doing all the the business side of business. But at the end of the day, I came to a realization that's what I was born to do because I'm very passionate about what I do. And I feel like it oozes out of me when I'm talking to people because of the knowledge. I've been in it so long, you know. So, a lot of companies like mine, they have salesmen. I don't have any salesmen. I am a salesman. And that all goes back to my knowledge. So my knowledge, every time I talk to people, they're like, well, if they're getting multiple bids, they're like, that contractor never mentioned that. They never pointed that out. They never, they always say that over and over. And that kind of shows me and tells me that, my experience is what leads to that. So I don't do like project or change orders and stuff because I already know because I've been in the business so long, I've done it so long, I've seen so much. I don't really, do change orders very much because I already know what we're getting into. I kind of pre put that in my number.
Yeah.
And also the other thing is having my own team of guys, that's priceless, because the biggest thing is these guys, I don't just hire just anybody, and I take care of my guys. I love my guys to death, like I truly care about them. The more successful we become, they're going to become more successful, at the end of the day. I'm not no greedy person. I'm going to take care of them. And having your own team of guys that are under me versus having hiring a company that subcontracts, you're hiring at the end of the day. If it's a company that's subcontracting, hiring out subcontracts or other contractors that don't work for them, they're at the end of the day, a contractor, in order to do that, they have to get the cheapest guys they can find to make money, right?
Right.
So my guys, I know what I pay them, so I adjust that accordingly in my price with my overhead and everything. But you're getting trustworthy people in your home versus when you hire other contractors that are hiring subcontractors they know nothing about. They're finding people that are just getting the lowest price, or they don't know anything about them personally,
Right.
Like I know every single thing about my people. I do background checks and they work for us. Been doing this a long time. Nothing's ever come up missing. And that's a huge selling point. I got garage codes to everybody's house. They, people trust us in their house without them being there. I think that's a huge advantage. I really do.
Well, and to speak on you caring about your people, I mean, I saw recently that they all went and got logo tattoos.
Yeah, we got a lot of guys that do, and we got more coming. That's huge, and I don't tell them to do that. They come to me. They're like, "Can I get branded?" Basically,
Right.
As you can see right here, we got them all on the left arm in the same spot, and that just shows their dedication. That they're not going nowhere. They believe in me, and I want them to believe in me. Because I'm not going to be a quitter. I'm going to continue to bust my butt. I wake up very early every morning, and I work nonstop like it's my life. I love my children. I love my wife. I love the Lord. But business is number 4 in my life, but it's also number 1 at the same time.
Yeah.
I make sure to put all the things above that, but I also, business is everything to me. It's constantly on my brain.
Yeah. So do you do only remodels, or do you do some new construction, or?
We do commercial, new construction, remodeling, but we mainly do remodeling because it's just, we kind of dominate that market. I think yesterday I turned down 2 new builds just yesterday. I've been turning down tons of work, and what's crazy right now is I got people calling me out the butt just asking for work, like contractors, subcontractors, contractors calling me, asking me if I got any work that I can kick their way. And I'm actually giving some, only, certain people I'll basically give work to that I trust that will take care of people, which is very small, amount of people in Wichita. Honestly, there's probably only like, 4 to 5 companies that's worth the crap, to be honest, and I don't talk bad about anybody. It's just I've seen their work. I know how they operate and stuff, and I just believe in taking care of customers and putting them first and before money. I think everybody thinks about money too much. That's like at the forefront. So they'll run from their problems and they won't communicate. And if they run into something, they'll just disappear. And they don't care about their name. I got a big
Right.
name in town, and I want to keep my name and I want to make it elevate. So I bend over backwards for people, and I got nothing but full blown 5-star reviews on everything. The only 2 negative reviews I got is from competitors off of Google. Other than that, they're all, and they're 2 people I've never even met before. Just put 1-star reviews. It's just the
Isn't
way
that something?
it makes me sick to my stomach because I really care about those. I take pride in that.
The we have a bunch of 5-star reviews also, and I have one 4-star review that is from somebody I have never talked to in my life.
Yeah, no,
I'm like,
there's haters out there, man. There's just people that are bored, and people don't want to see you. They hate seeing people be successful for sure. I got a lot of haters, a
yeah,
lot, but I don't hate on a single person. I hope everybody is successful. Like I don't dislike anybody, even the people that I hear talk bad about me. It's only because of, they're just hating on of what we got, of what we're doing basically, like,
yep,
like my Milwaukee sponsorship, people are really jealous of that. It bothers them, and it's like, I didn't ask for that. It came to me,
right,
It's silly. I would
yep,
love, like I'm all about seeing people do better in life. Everybody.
yep. So what else do you want to tell our audience about you or your business or basically anything?
I mean, I got 4 boys and identical twins that are probably going to be Major League Baseball players, more than likely. Like they're amazing and they're only going to get better. I got an electrician, which is awesome, my oldest son, because I want them to get in the trades. And my other son he started a mobile detailing business, so he's a hardworking kid. And I just want to enforce that to my kids how important hard work is. As I got a tattoo right here on my, it says work hard. I'm a big believer in working hard. Nothing's ever going to come to you in life. It's never going to fall in your lap. You got to work hard. You got to get out of bed every day early and work your butt off. Nothing's ever. I grew up as poor as can be. So, I used to have to wear secondhand shoes, and now because of that, and I've done pretty well for myself. I got quite the shoe collection to say the least.
Yeah,
And the biggest thing that from my success is God, though. My faith. I've always been a man of God. It's always been a part of my life. I've always went up and down. Here and there. I'll fall back. But I'm on fire for God right now. And when you serve God, I truly believe it, and I've witnessed it. It's incredible what happens to your business. The faithfulness when you change, when you completely surrender your life over to God. The way, like, I could give you stories for days of things that's just happened, and a lot of stuff. It's miraculous. We lost a big job just 2 weeks ago, literally. They backed out the last second. We're about to start it. The very next day, I got the phone call from a job, a lady ready to start 3 times the size of that job that I lost. I mean, it's just, that's a huge part of my life, and I attribute everything I got from God.
that's one thing that I always tell myself is whenever I lose out on say a listing or a really good buyer or something like that is God's always got something better planned for me.
Always. I truly believe there's a reason for that stuff, that wasn't meant to be.
Yep. Well, Jeremy, how do people get a hold of you, or how can they get you to come work on their house?
Uh, like I said, Instagram was very powerful. It's a good way to see our biography of our work. I show on there about our life and stuff, and our work and all that. And obviously on Facebook, but more Instagram than anything. And it's at JJ's Quality Homes. You can see right here, without the apostrophe. JJ's Quality Homes ICT
Okay.
is the Instagram. And then our office number is 316-633-1234. Pretty easy. That's my office manager's number.
Sweet. One last thing I forgot to ask you. What is a crazy story that you're allowed to tell without getting in trouble? All the years you've been a part of construction, I'm sure you got something.
So I haven't. I mean, I don't have a lot of like crazy stories, you know. But the one thing that I can say that happened recently is I walked away from the first job. I've never done that before. I've never started a job and walked away from it. I felt it in my gut. I already took a $20,000 down payment for the job. We started a demo, everything, and I started getting bad vibes as we were going. You know, as we only started the demo job, so we didn't actually start the work yet. And I did a pre-walkthrough before the job, and was throwing out ballpark prices, you know, before we got a contract signed. And I got the $20,000 down payment. This just shows you how much people trust me. You know, they wrote me a $20,000 check without anything, you know, no contract, nothing. And we did a pre-walkthrough when I always do a pre-walkthrough, and people want ballpark numbers and stuff, which I hate throwing out ballpark numbers, you know, because they can be off, you know, and I don't want them to be held accountable. So I kind of try to throw them higher, but not too high, because then it can scare people, obviously.
Right.
So I did a walkthrough of this job, big job, really big job. And I started throwing out numbers of stuff. And long story short, the people were trying to hold me to those numbers. So when it come time to start selections to narrow down to write the contract out, they were like, well, you said countertops were going to be $17,000 for the whole house or whatever, you know, and blah, 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 or the cabinetry was going to be this much. But I specifically told the people, I said, do not choose. I said, when you go to select countertops, do not choose from this line. It's not in your budget. I already know your budget. They told me their budget, right? So I know what numbers we had to be in. So I said, do not choose from this line. What do they do? They go choose from the line. I tell them not to. Same thing with the cabinetry. Do not choose from this line. It's out of your budget. What do they do? Go choose from that line. So those were just, and they're wanting me to help with design, which I'm not a designer. We work with designers all the time. I'm a contractor, you know, like I'll put in my input and stuff, but you're hiring me to build things and to run your job, you know,
Yep.
the right way and be responsible for it. I'm not choosing selections for you and helping you with that. I don't have time for that, you know, hired as a designer. And long story short, I walked away from that job peacefully. I had my lawyer draw up something and send it over to them, and it was pretty peaceful, and didn't hear anything back from them. But it sucked. I hated doing that because they were great. They were great human beings, but money wise, you know, I'm not in business to lose money. You know, like
Right.
I'm more than welcome to help people. If you're a good person to me, when we start a job, you know, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 project, if you're doing a large project, any size project, really, if you're nice to me, I'm going to throw in some freebies for you. I'm going to help you out, you know. But if you're turning south on me for no reason when we're bending over backwards for you, we treat every job the same, you know. I'm very nice to everybody. Communication is what I'm the best at, I believe. I get back with everybody, always. That's big. I think that's the key to success is communication, 100%.
Yes. Absolutely.
Anybody that messes me, no matter what time of night, you know, like since we've been on here, I probably got 30 some messages. It looks like my whole phone has exploded. I'll get back with each and every person, and at least say something to them, you know.
Yeah.
If there's one thing to take out of business, like people do not understand how important communication is. A simple, just getting back with them and say, you know, say you're too busy to do the job, or you're too backlogged, or whatever it is, whatever. Say something. That's
Yep.
all you got to do to be successful.
It takes 15 seconds to type out a text message.
It does. But I can't even keep up with the amount of text messages that come in, you know. So I try. That's one thing I battle because I'm only one human being. And I mean, I got several phones and they're just flooded with messages. But at the end of the day, I always get back with them in a timely manner, you know.
Yeah.
Not everybody the same day, but I don't put them off for long, you know. I at least keep them in the loop, you know, because another thing we battle is when we're doing jobs, people add stuff on projects, you know. So if we're on a big job and somebody adds on, you know, a large deck on a $400,000 job we're working on, say it's a $50,000-$60,000 deck, I'm not going to say no to that. You know, like I'm already there working. Our guys are there, and doing siding and deck goes hand in hand together when you're doing them, you know. So
Right.
that sucks. So I can't keep a schedule, you know. That's the crappy thing. So that's one thing that is a battle, and there's a fine line there. You know, some people don't understand that, but they got to put themselves in my shoes. You know, if I'm working on their house, you know, they would be upset if I didn't want to do that on their house. You know,
Exactly.
people don't get that. So that's
Yep.
one thing I battle. because I got too big of a heart and I really care too much about people, and that gets me sometimes.
Well, Jeremy, thanks for joining me today. I really appreciate it.
Yep, you're welcome.
What I'll do is I'm going to put this on all of our socials. You're welcome to share it out there. I can also, send this video to you as well, and you're welcome to use it and kind of just help get your name out there even more. So I appreciate you hopping on here with me.
All right, man. Have a good day.
You too. We'll see ya.